Difibromyalgia, yes. So let's finish. In a healthy, where was I?
Since the gut is constantly.
Since the gut is constantly exposed to food, microbes, and chemicals, the GI tract must work continuously to defend itself from these unwanted substances that, if allowed entry into the body, can cause a vicious cycle of inflammation. Inflammation is almost the cornerstone of all chronic illnesses. Cancer, everything. Inflammation. And the biggest source of inflammation is the gut. And what causes inflammation? The constant exposure to foreign substances can cause the walls of the intestines to become vulnerable to deterioration and permeability, a condition commonly referred as leaky gut syndrome. The leaky gut syndrome is at the source of most inflammation, what we call chronic inflammation. It's not like you're going to feel the pain from the inflammation. You know when you cut your skin, right? It inflames because the stem cells are coming to do the repair. It's a normal reaction the body has to invasion, right? You can see, you can feel it. But when it's in your gut, there's no pain. You just have bloating, gas, indigestion, discomfort, constipation, diarrhea. You have those funny kind of poo-looking things, right? And because nobody is looking at your poo with you, you're like, well, it's okay, it's my poo. It's acceptable. My poo today is acceptable. When it is not. So you should have that picture on top of your bathroom, okay? So these are all the things that are going through, right? Stress causes a lot of issues too. It causes that lack of permeability. So look at some of the things down here. So the outcome from a compromised leaky gut causes negative food reactions. Nobody should be having it. I know most doctors will tell you, oh, that's fine. Most people have allergies. That's not.
Well, because they want their business.
And then we have compromised immune system that leads to those allergies and things. We have nutrient malabsorptions. That's why we do all of the testing here for with Vibrant and your blood, because most of us are deficient on D. I could go spend a whole day talking to you how important D is important. How many people here take nutrients every day in terms of supplements? So if we tested those people who are not taking, you're going to be really short. And you buy your supplements from Costco, right?
Yeah.
How did I know that?
You keep it slow.
So see what she does. She buys cheap supplements, then goes to Trader Joe's to buy Sprouts. You don't buy your supplement at Sprouts because they are slightly expensive, right?
Some of them, it depends.
You should come to us and get the right ones.
You get more at Costco then.
I love the American dream. It's all about price, isn't it? Okay. And then, so look at the malabsorption. So K, especially B12, magnesium, right? I remember I was telling some people, I went to San Francisco about a year or two ago, and at night I was having this pain deep inside of me. I thought I was having a heart attack. So I was in the hotel. So I called the ambulance. And so they took me to the hospital, you know, emergency, and they kept me there for like doing all these stupid tests. They didn't find anything. So I was let go. I went back and I was like, something is really wrong. You know, when I do my shoulder like that, there was this.
It was the mattress.
Huh?
Was it
No,
the
it was the mattress. It was dehydration. When I came and I went to see the doctor, he gave me an IV with magnesium. Everything just went away. He said, oh, you're dehydrated. More than 6 doctors saw me at that hospital. They had no idea what was wrong with me. The minute I got the IV, it was dehydration. The minute I got the IV, I was fine. The pain just went away because when you're low in magnesium, the muscle is not contracting well, and You understand? And so a lot of people go and they take medication and it's not getting better and they don't know it's something simple. You also have an increased risk for autoimmune disease. Okay? All these very interesting illnesses with very amazing names like lupus, like IBD, like rheumatoid arthritis, like multiple sclerosis. All this stuff is metabolic. And we are discovering drugs for each of them when you should just eat well and take your nutrients. You get that? Does that make sense? So now let's go to the big one that we normally start people with. Any questions? Esther, you look deeply fascinated. Did you just move into a new world, Esther?
So, consider you were dehydrated. Is hydration strictly a function of drinking more and more water, or
No,
is there other
no.
things?
It's also because a lot of people, like when we do body composition, we can show extracellular water and intracellular water. It's also how much your body is absorbing and how much electrolytes are in your cell compared to your bloodstream so they can pull the water in.
Oh.
So it's also an electrolyte balance.
Got it, because you said magnesium was missing, so that's not water, but it's still.
Yes, it's electrolytes. Yeah, so you have to have an electrolyte balance: potassium, sodium, magnesium, all of those things. They create what we call this chemical turgidity between the bloodstream, and that's how water goes across. So when you do body composition, we can tell, right, whether you have a lot of water in your blood, because a lot of people drink water, but when we look at their cell, there is no water.
Why is that?
Your body, the water is not being absorbed into your cellular architecture, and typically it's because of the electrolyte architecture. You're not taking enough of the minerals that support that transport. Is that making sense? So, because that acidity alkaline balance is also very important, right? That's making sense,
So
right?
if you drink alkaline water, whatever.
That's why they
It
say
helps?
that. It helps because it reduces the acidity that comes from the stomach and increases the absorption.
So, but let's just say you don't have, so if you drink that water, but you don't really need it, is it bad or it's just gonna flush it out?
I know all of us need that lower pH water. So the
Temporarily-
alkaline water is just a pH that's higher than 7.
So is it temporary that you drink that type of water?
No, it's
or
not temporarily you drink it. You need to make sure that because if you take all your minerals, we're going to talk about the RDA shortly. If you take all your minerals, the body balances the electrolyte architecture. And you need to drink really clean water. Like our water here needs to be filtered so that it has the right pH, so that when you drink it, plus all the minerals you're taking, it creates the right electrolyte. How many people here did chemistry, basic chemistry? You know what electrolyte is? Everything that is absorbed in the body requires a chemical balance, right? Like H2O, that's a plus, and the oxygen is a negative. The electricity that's created in the positive and negative ions is how absorption and elimination happens at the cellular level. You understand that? So whether you're looking at HCl, right, which is the acidity in the stomach, everything is driven by that underlying biochemistry of the negative ions and the positive ions. Even the universe, that's how God designed everything. It's driven by positive ions and negative ions, right? Nuclear fission, positive ions, negative ions. Everything God designed in the same way.
Balance.
Yes, it's a balance of positive ions and negative ions. Even at the absorption level, at the cellular level, is the same architecture. Is that making sense?
Yeah, but let's say your minerals are under control. Let's just say if you drink the alkaline water, it's not gonna hurt you, right?
No, alkaline water doesn't hurt you.
At all.
The body moves towards acidity. Why does the body move towards acidity? That's why we like to eat seafood. Because seafood, they live in the sea, they remove all their toxins out of. The body, the human body that's not in water all the time, keeps all the toxins. And the retention of those toxins creates acidity. Acidity is where cancer grows. So you don't want your body to be acidic.
Okay.
Is that making sense? That's why those people sell the alkaline water.
So it makes sense, but how to functionally do this, so.
The
I buy-
functional way to do it is to drink clean water and get all your minerals.
Okay, so clean water, I buy.
Every day.
I use Kangen water only, you know.
I don't know what it is, but the point is,
Okay, it's a highly respected filtration system.
okay,
And
that's
you can-
important
and you
because
can-
it removes the toxins and the pathogens.
So for instance, in Japan, it is a medical instrument.
Correct.
That's supported by the government, okay, so.
Correct.
So
Same
anyway,
thing
you got
here.
a lot of science that says it's really good
Yes,
versus other.
I know that. Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
versus other filtration systems. My point being, you know, I can determine what pH level I want it to be.
Correct.
What should I ask for them to make? Well,
Typically, you should make it. It should be above 7.
well, but I have 8, 8.5, 9.5.
That's fine. Because if you tend to be an acidic person, you want a higher pH
Okay.
to
And then-
balance the acidity.
And then does it make a difference of not drinking that kind of water while you're just at eating? Because you're now neutralizing stomach acidity acid, you know, you drink a bunch of, you know,
Yeah, but
alkaline.
what they tend to recommend, why they say you shouldn't drink water when you're eating, is because the first part of the gut actually is acidic. That's where the protein metabolism happens. Most of the stomach is acidic. You don't want to dilute that when they're trying to do the the protein metabolism. So you want to drink water after you've eaten,
Okay.
when a lot of that has gone through. If not, you're creating stomach issues by adding water
I
while
got it.
you're eating, and then the body's trying to do, in that acidic environment, the protein metabolism.
Is that why you get like burping and all that?
It comes from a lot of different things. You know, the body is a very complex thing. So I cannot say this is why this happens, but I'm telling you why certain things need to. When you eat, and that's why you need to like chew very slowly to give the enzymes in the mouth the opportunity to begin to break it down. So when it gets to the stomach starts because at the upper part of the stomach is the protein metabolism. As it goes down, it gets into the fat metabolism and then the carbohydrate metabolism in the lower parts, right? Then most of what happens in the intestines is mostly the absorption and elimination. So most of the breakdown happens past the duodenum. And then it's mostly absorption and elimination. Your poo begins to create, and the elimination process is happening. You understand? Is that making sense? Okay. Any questions on that before we move to elimination and detox?
So like right here, by your belly button, what happens? What's happening with the food?
The food already, most of the proteins must have been absorbed, and the fats, it's the carbohydrates that are being broken down by the amylases. Yeah, the specific enzymes that break down carbohydrates. Okay, and then the microbes and the pathogens and all of that are also assisting to break down the food. You know, breaking down macronutrients. So that's why a lot of people take medical foods, because it's already broken down. So when you're sick in the hospital, they recommend you take medical foods, because medical foods already come broken down into the component amino acids, the amylases, the sugars and everything. Do you understand? So macronutrients, right? We have 3 of them: fats, good fats, carbs, and proteins, right? All of this come into the body in the food in the complex form. So when you eat meat, it's complex protein. The body cannot deal with it. The body needs the amino acids. So there's a translation that has to happen to get to that. Do you understand that? That's what protein is. Protein is amino acids. Amino acids is the subatomic proteins that are inside the macronutrient called protein. Is that making sense? Sorry, this is taught in chemistry class. Same thing with carbohydrates, right? We have the 3 kinds of sugars. the sucrose, the glucose, and the other sugars that are part of that carbohydrate architecture with some other minerals. Same thing with the fats, the poly and the monosaturated fats. They all have to be broken down before they absorb in the lining. All this breakdown happens in the stomach and going down. Is that making sense? So that's why eating slowly or eating fermented foods is good, because what has happened in fermented foods, the bacteria has broken down some of the food already into the components that are easily absorbed. Is that making sense?
So it's not, so if you take fermented foods, you're not cheating.
You're not cheating, you're just helping your stomach. Yeah, you just with cheese. You're just helping your stomach.
So like that kombucha drink is
Yes,
is good?
it's very good.
Like in a daily basis?
Yes. Right? So these are macronutrients. Then you also need your micronutrients. Right? Can you put up the FDA thing? So we need the RDA. Sorry, RDA, can't even spell. The RDA is the vitamins, minerals, and what? Sorry?
Nutrition?
Yeah, so these are the nutrients, both macro, that we need every day in the amount of quantities. He's going to put it up. You need to have that. So a lot of people will say, I do not take supplements. I don't need supplements. There's a reason why you need supplements. When we used to live in the village, where you eat proteins, carbs, and fats, this had perfect nutrition, because the soil and the quality of organic was all perfect. That's why people in the village don't have these kinds of chronic illnesses. Chronic illnesses come from nutrient deficiency plus toxicity. In the village, they only had infections. Are we getting this? Now we have nutrient deficiency because we are not getting all of this in the right amount. Look at, so he can continue to scroll. Look at the levels of biotin. Look at the levels of folic acid. Look at the levels of niacin. Look at the levels of pantothenic acid, riboflavin, thiamine. These are all B's. Go across. Then vitamin A, B4. Is it B?
B6.
B6, sorry, I can't see. B12.
That's
C.
not B4, huh? Now that you say it.
Yes.
B4 doesn't exist?
Then C, then D, then E, then K, in those amounts, then minerals. Hold on, and this is where the minerals, the only way minerals really survive, or everything in the body, is in a formulaic form, right? So we need to have a positive ion attached to a negative ion. So a lot of the minerals create this electrolyte environment. See, chloride, the acid-base balance. Calcium for clotting, right? We need something to form and cement, right? Chromium, right? Copper, iodine, iron, magnesium, manganese. My daughter said that was a country in Africa. Molybdenum, phosphorus, potassium, selenium, right? They use that to make computers too. So if you're not taking supplements, you need to then guarantee that the food you're eating has all of that. So how do we cheat? We take supplements. It's a cheat. Do you see the point? It's a cheat. There's no way I can eat all of this every day. Except I have a chef, and I'm not rich enough to have one, who's making sure that my meal has everything, and I finish eating it in the right amount.
Yeah.
Or how do I cheat since I'm a poor man? I take supplements.
Yeah.
Do you see the point? It's a cheat.
Sometimes when I check the balance of whatever you have to eat, I'm like, this is too. There's no way I can eat all this in a day. It's too much.
It's not about too much. Who's going to check and make sure all of them has the right amount? So I cheat. So I take my glucose. Can you bring me the Inflamex or glucose drink? Where is it? Or any of the ones that are there, the medical foods, anyone that's there. Yeah, bring that one. That one is fine. So if I take this drink, this is the ultra meal for nutritional management of sarcopenia. You know what sarcopenia is, right? It's women suffering from lack of muscle as they grow older, especially menopausal women, because they don't exercise. So this is where you have muscle wasting. So if I take this, so look at what is in this food. Look at all these amino acids. So it's a cheat. So if I take one scoop of this,
You're done. That's good. That's it. You don't have to worry about it.
then you now can eat it, not anything, but you now can eat small portions of the other things, right? Is this making sense, guys? Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's too expensive, I shouldn't eat it. Well, it's your body. I drive an X6 and I put 91 gas. Should I put 87 gas?
Probably. The engine may not know much difference there.
That's the supposition, right? But they said you should put 91 gas. There's a reason why it optimizes engine performance. It's like your body too. They recommended that you have put these things in your body and you keep putting 87 gas in a 91 engine and you expect it to perform optimally, right? So you have that challenge. Is that making sense? So the question, for me, it's not a question anybody should be having. You must take supplements. If you want to buy it at Costco, it's okay. We'll guarantee the quality is not good enough. But at least she's buying 87 gas. Some people are not even putting gas. You know, there's some women who just, like my kids, they used to drive their car and say, oh, the car stopped. I said, is there gas in the car? Oh, I didn't check. Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to put gas. Because some of you are treating your bodies that way. Why can't I just keep driving without gas?
That's funny.
Do you get the point?
Yeah.
So the question should not be whether I take supplements or not. You should. You don't live in a village and you don't eat fresh food and you store food in the refrigerator, which diminishes the nutrient value. Full stop. All of us do it, right? So if you supplement it, at least you know. I can tell the difference over the last year and a half that I've been on nutrients. My brain is sharp. Seriously. Very. And my staff will tell you my brain is sharp. Sharper than it has ever been.
Lip sharp.
Thank you. Do you understand? So did we address this question? So it's a very big question that people think, well, maybe, perhaps, nah. You should. Go buy it wherever you want to, but take it. Okay, guys? All right? You don't have nutritionists and you don't have chefs.
Yeah.
When you get, yes, which is where we're going, Jen. Now let's talk about how we're doing for time. Okay, we need to
Just a quick
hurry.
question. You said
Yeah.
chronic illnesses is a function of two things that are deficient. Nutrient, and what was the other?
And toxicity.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
Oh,
Really, those are the two big issues.
oh, nutrient deficiency
And
the
toxicity. And where's the toxicity coming from, Esther? That's one. Air,
Environment.
hair wash, chemicals, nails, lipstick. Because you don't know what's in your lipstick and you're sucking it every moment, right? Do you know what's in your lipstick? And you're licking it off every moment and putting new ones. I just like the color. What is in it? Oh, well, I don't know. And because I'm against testing on animals, I made sure they didn't test it on animals, but I'm using it. Stupidity of Western culture, right? Don't test it on animals, just give it to me. Right? Sorry, I just like to make fun about Western culture, the stupidity of it. They were testing it on animals so that it doesn't hurt you. But since you love animals more than you love yourself, we'll just give it straight to you. Okay? Any more questions on this? So toxicity did not exist in the village. Why? They were not using pesticides. They were not using chemicals. They were just using nature. Nature doesn't come with toxicity. We introduce toxicity. Is that clear? And that's why I encourage people not to drink bottled water. Look at the truck going around with the bottled water. The bottles are made from phenols. The sun, the water, the bottle. Oh, I buy bottled water. Yeah. You're killing yourself. Everyone should have a water filter at home and an air filter. If you don't have it, you're killing yourself slowly. Good luck. Now let's talk about elimination and detox. You guys share that, okay? So, one of the big issues is that when we start anybody on any of our programs, one of the first things that we want to do is to do a detox. And it is important because it allows us to actually clean your system, and we're going to talk about that, so that you can actually, when we start rebuilding your microbial balance, the barrier function, and all of those things, we know we are starting at least in a partially clean environment. The toxicity for most of us has been built over a lot of years, right? And, sorry, the test we run for, do we have a toxicity report? Can you put on a doctor's data report up on the screen? Vincent, a doctor's data report up on the screen. I'll show you some toxicity results. And I don't know whether I did one. Just look for one and try and put it up. Let me show you what a urine toxicity report looks like from doctor's data. The liver. Do we do liver transplants?
Yeah.
Do you know anybody who's done one?
I have a patient.
Where do you get the liver from? Why do you have to get the liver from a dead person?
Not survivors.
Does that make sense? So if your liver fails, it is the primary detoxification organ and works with the GI tract to remove toxins encountered from the food we eat, as well as those produced by metabolic processes. Okay? The liver is a special boy. When the GI tract is not functioning properly, which is in most of us, actually all of us, how many people here take probiotics? You're not? I thought you are. You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he is, right? Yeah, he is taking. You are taking.
Silver. But that's not
You take what?
Centrum Silver
Which is the overall?
for 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
40 and older.
Yeah, 40.
They don't have 40 now.
So it places additional burden when your GI tract is not working. It is important to periodically restore the body's ability to eliminate toxins and maintain optimal liver function. So typically, you want to detox, go through a detox program about 2 or 3 times a year. Now we will talk about it. We have programs for that.
3 times a year?
Yes. Because you're accumulating a lot of toxins. It's just natural. Okay, look at the toxicity chart. So when we test your urine, we are looking for all of these things. So even when we say things that we didn't reference, it's not good. Because the people who lived in villages didn't have these things in their blood. So look at lead. It's just a little amount, it's within range. But you know, look at mercury. Where is it? Okay, look at this one. It is already in the outside. Thallium. Thallium is radioactive. And it comes from the fracking and some of the nonsense we do. Look at mercury. Look at cesium. It's also radioactive. It's almost And this is the biggest issue about triggering cancer. This toxicity. Road scroll. So that test continues. Hold on. But now we can look at the good things that you're supposed to have. Those were the bad things. These are the good boys, right? But you need to have them in the right ranges. You see that? It's either you have too little or too much. You have to be in the right range. Do you see that? So when we run this urine analysis, we don't know what's going on in your body. You know, most of you, your doctor told you that, oh, you're feeling well. Feeling well is not a measure of health. We, in this practice, we use biomarker data to say you are well, based on the fact that all your clinical biomarkers are within the proper range. That's how we define wellness. We don't define it by saying, oh, if you feel good, you must be fine. Yes, exactly. That's not good enough. And if you were here yesterday during the presentation, Dr. Gunn said 50% of women who have stroke have low cholesterol and low LDL, which are typically the measures that your doctors, right? You saw the presentation. So the data doesn't support what most doctors would tell you. And I just wanted to show you that. So let's look at detox. Most of the toxic compounds the body is exposed to are fat soluble. I told you there were two kinds of ways the body deals with absorption: fat soluble and water soluble, right? Most of the toxins are fat soluble. Phase 1 of detoxification is responsible for converting these fat soluble toxins to intermediary metabolites. These metabolites are often more harmful and reactive than the original toxins and must be converted quickly via a phase 2 conjugation. What is a conjugation? It's where we have something that's very reactive and we attach it to something to form a stable compound. That's real biochemistry now. So we have a free radical, very dangerous. Quickly we attach it to something and to bring it down, right? And balance and reduce its activity. That's what they're doing in phase 2, right? So we make it water soluble, which we can pee and poo. Okay? And sometimes the fat comes out too as part of the poo, right? Okay? I'm gonna let you read all of this. It's very technical. What I wanna talk about now is our offering for detox. So how many people here are ready to detox? It's always good to detox. So let's look at the different programs we have for detox. And can you bring some of the detox things we have? So we have different vendors supporting our detox program. So first of all, the vendors that we deal with are top of the class vendors, right? We all like to buy Louis Vuitton, Omega watches. We like top of the class. So we thought that since we're dealing with Americans, we're gonna give you top of the class vendors, right? So, so when you look across this, there are two aspects about detox. One is the length of the detox, very important. If you have a very sensitive system and you've never detoxed before, the recommendation is for a longer detox. But if you're somebody who would have challenges complying to a detox program because you have to eat a certain way, you have to drink a certain way, and you have to take the things, you want to initially start with a 7-day detox. But the longer detox is actually better for you because then the body is very gently removing those toxins. You know, when we spoke about it, when they take that fat soluble metabolites, we create that intermediate compounds, they're very, very toxic. And so for most people who do detox, the first or second day, they're gonna have flu-like symptoms. It's because the body is removing those fat-soluble metabolites and trying to conjugate them. So this packages, detox is a very, very dangerous program because of that second step. So these toxins are sleeping there, causing problems. We go wake them up because we want to remove them. And why do we want to remove them? Because if they continue to sit there, they're going to trigger mutations, which becomes cancerous. Okay? That's why we want to remove them. But the act of removing them is a very careful and dangerous act. So we have to do it really gently and a little at a time. Do you understand that? So it's not that you're going to die from detox. Nobody does. It's that it's important that if it's supervised and you do it with a program that's been properly vetted. A lot of people just say, oh, you know, my friends did this detox, I can just get on that detox. That's really very dangerous if you're not really being managed. So the programs that we have supports that conjugation process.
Based on your needs, your personal needs.
No, but it's nutrients that we know what metabolites are going to be created and what they need to bind so that they can be excreted. And you're going to see how your pee changes and your poo changes as those things are being excreted. For example, Dr. Yi takes Metabolic every day with garlic and other things. Metabolic, which we have. Do we have Metabolic there?
We
Metabolic is really to remove those metals. Can you go back? Oh, sorry. Well, Vincent, you stayed here.
Yeah.
Yara, can you look for whether we have Metabolic there? So go back to the top. Go back to the top. So you look at all this stuff. So what Metabolic does is that it binds with a lot of this stuff and extracts them. So Dr. Yi would tell you that when you take Metabolic, your poo is almost dark every day, correct? Very dark poo.
And then you lose weight also.
Yeah,
around your belly
because
area.
the toxins typically are hiding in the fat. So as the toxins are removed, the fat
Lose weight.
is
Lose weight.
yeah, it's excreted. Do you understand? So that she used to have a lot of stubborn fat.
Yeah.
As you have
Keep
stubborn
that
fat. Yeah. Fat that even when you diet, all of that. So when you detox, it releases all those toxins, and then the fat just, especially women who have that stubborn fat around here, who've been struggling to lose it. True detox is one of the ways to do that. Okay? So a Metabolic is one of the things we do. She takes that every day, plus every 3 months she goes through a detox process. Okay? I take Metabolic like 2 or 3 or 4 times a week. Right? It's very important that it begins to really like remove all the toxins in your system. I told you there are 2 things that cause chronic illness: toxins and inflammation. If you fix your gut, you address almost 80 to 90% of the underlying inflammation. But the gut, to keep a healthy gut, needs a daily focus on nutrients, on probiotics, on diet, on reduced stress, on hydration, on exercise. All of that stuff the gut needs. Why exercise? It allows the food to move around. If the body is not moving, it's not going to push. You're not going to poo twice a day. So exercise helps the poo to come out. If not, the body is holding on to bad shit and reabsorbing the toxins. So when you poo, oh God, smells like the poo of an autistic child. Really smelly. Sometimes I walk into the bathroom and I'm like, was there a bomb? Was this sulfur bomb in this bathroom? Yeah, right? We all have that kind of smelly poo, and once it's that smelly, you know something is wrong. Your poo should not be that smelly. And typically it comes when you've had constipation. Because if your poo, if you're going to the bathroom every other day, you must have very smelly poo. You are constipated. Are we getting this stuff? And holding smelly poo in your stomach is bad for you. Because as long as it's inside of you, the body is reabsorbing. Because the body thinks, you're still here. Is there anything for us to absorb here? That's why eliminating twice a day is very important. Is this making sense? Good. Who wants to detox? Okay. So can you think about it? Any questions as we close this conversation?
How do you have 12 to 15 choices. How do you pick what's good for you?
One is flavor. I said one is duration and one is flavor. Because you want to make sure you choose a flavor that you're comfortable with.
Okay.
And so what I tend to recommend is the 7 or 10 day to start if you've never detoxed before, and then you can choose flavor. So if you look at the metagenics, we have pineapple and banana, we have vanilla berry, we have chai, right? So there are different taste options there. We have chocolate for the ultramolecular. So we have the 7 or 10 days, so you can choose the flavor. Everything that I take is chocolate because I can tolerate it. The other ones I tend to take, but they're kind of, I like the chocolatey kind of taste
So you're more willing
than
to
the
do it.
fun. Yeah, you're not like, oh shit, I'm gonna drink that stuff. It's like when I take my castor oil, or what's that oil we're taking, right? Which I take every morning.
ACT.
It's like, oh my god, we're gonna take that oil again, right?
So does it come with a diet plan? Like the 7 day?
Yes, it comes with a program. Can you give me one with a plan?
So you just choose from the 14, you
Each
just
side
choose
balance.
one, that's enough?
No
Or-
metron?
Yeah, just choose one and then we will support you. So like if you look at this one, it comes with a program. Yeah, and a shaker, and it tells you everything that you need to know. Okay, with deep intimacy. It even gives you diet suggestions, right? Yeah, that's it even gives you diet suggestions about the things to, because it goes through what I would call it goes through what I would call
So you don't need anything else, you just do the program?
yeah, but also you need a diet.
Okay,
You need to
okay.
follow a specific kind of diet.
Okay.
Because what it does is that, I was just going to talk about that. It goes through what we call a 5R or 4R. Because one of the things that you want to do immediately in your stomach, it goes through what we call remove. So there are certain foods that it's going to remove immediately from your diet so that we can really fix the GI, right? Then it's going to reintroduce certain foods, or what we call repopulation. There are lots of R's around that. My staff know it better than I do. So that's really what's happening throughout the 7, 10, 14, 20 day process. It's eliminating, reintroducing, and slowly repairing the 4 things we were talking about, right? What are those 4 things? Let's go back and look at the 4 things we were talking about. We spoke about, right? What were the 4 things?
Well, we had a 6 system, a 7 lifestyle. We had
The
Three
4
fruit.
things we were talking about that happens in the GI: digestion and absorption. So the detox re-regulates your digestion and your absorption. It begins the elimination and the detoxification. So we're doing a detox, but that's overall what it's repairing. It's fixing it. Then it includes the microbiome, right? Inside this packet, it has, that's the daily support. Doesn't it come with an extra probiotic?
That's the
No.
The weight loss.
That's weight loss.
Oh, that's the
program.
weight loss one.
Yeah.
But you need to be taking an extra probiotic to maintain the microbial balance. And then it also helps you repair. It also helps you repair the barrier function, right? So this is the thing that I was talking about that Dr. E takes every day. It's called Metabolic, right? And she actually takes it every day with her gallon. Okay? Is that making sense? So the detox begins for us as part of your weight loss program. It takes you through that, and then you now begin the different options within our weight loss program. Because removing the toxins prepares you for that fat reduction process. Okay? Any questions?
Yeah,
Concerns? Any concerns?
I don't cook. I'm not a cooker, so can I do this by myself? Like, I don't have to
Yes,
cook. I don't
yes. But you need to start trying to do some cooking.
It's light cooking, though. Nothing.
It's
fancy.
light cooking, yes.
So
And-
also, I'm taking, I'm sorry, the Digestine, because every time I eat, there are things not completely digested.
Yes, yes.
It's
So,
in
so,
the-
yeah.
in the-
So Dr. E is introducing another product,
I mean,
but I think that's something you're going to learn with time. I really want to keep it light. Yeah, you know, because soon you give them 10 products to start taking and people are overwhelmed already. So I think that when you start with the detox, it begins to encourage you for the kinds of foods. And typically if you go to Sprouts or to Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, you can get salmon pieces or things that are prepared that are wild caught. Because a lot of farmed raised fish is not good for you, has a lot of toxins. I know, even when I go to Ranch 99 to buy my fresh fish, I actually look for the kind of fish I should be buying, right? I tend to buy fresh fish. And I go to Ranch 99 for that because they have the fish and they'll tell you, and there's a reason why some fish is very expensive, isn't it? So if you like to buy cheap farm fresh fish and say, oh, I'm eating seafood, well, you're cheating yourself. It's like buying a fake Prada bag. You know, I have a Prada bag, but you know it's fake, right? So you want to go buy fish that is wild caught, good fish for you, okay? And if you go to Ranch 99, which is the Chinese
San
market,
Pedro is better.
huh?
San Pedro.
Well, I don't know the quality of the fish they're catching there. I don't know, I haven't been
From
there.
the ocean, right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but you know that,
Fish
but
caught.
hold on, but you know that we pour a lot of shit into our ocean here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why-
So,
This is a different ocean, from a different ocean.
yeah, that is why if you go to Ranch 99, they'll tell you where that it comes from, Maine or Seattle or
Yeah.
Alaska, where the sea quality we know is still very good. Okay, so that's very important. All the fish you catch here has all the poo that has been pushed into the sea. Yeah, okay, you're eating the same shit that we're pulling, which is
Might as well
okay.
just eat your food, huh?
Well, there you go.
Oh my God.
Any more questions? So he spoke about the cooking thing. I think it's a great idea. You can there's chicken you can get, which is if you go to farmers market, you can get real free range chicken. Most of the Hispanic stores have free range chicken places where they create the broilers and the eggs good quality, right? Because you really want to move away from just reducing toxicity in your diet. It's a gradual process and education, right? And I know most people will be like, oh yeah, I've been eating it forever, it's fine. Okay, deal with
I'm
that
gonna
shit.
die anyway. Some people think.
Say, yeah, but you know how we want to die, right? We want to die healthy. We don't want to die. That's the problem. And then you are angry that your children are not visiting you, they're not taking care of you, right? Like some of my friends who have stroke and you're now depressed and life doesn't suck. Nobody loves me anymore. Yeah, die with that bullshit.
I have a
You know, our children don't give a shit, right? They won't give a shit. So you need to prepare for that stuff.
I got my grandson, 2 years old, and I want to be there when he's 30.
Exactly. You want to
Healthy.
be healthy. So he's going to stop drinking Coke.
And detox today.
Oh, long
Yeah,
time.
well, the Coke's a
Good job.
no-brainer. Good Lord.
I know, right?
Jesus.
Exactly. No, he's at step one.
No,
He's
I got it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
take a Coke, buy it, put it in a jar, put a nail in there, leave it for a few days. The nail's completely dissolved in crap. You know, just turned into rust.
I'm doing a 2 liter
That's
a
what-
day.
Oh, God. Well, you'll notice a lot of improvement quickly.
Any questions?
That's good stuff.
I wish, Esther, you were here yesterday for that Dr. Gunn's
I
thing
noticed
on menopause.
you video. Can we get access to the ones you
Yeah.
video?
Yeah, go
On
to
your page
our
yesterday, I was
Facebook and you can
watching
watch
it.
it again.
No,
Okay,
it's
Facebook,
not on
I'll do-
Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
No, on
No,
Facebook yesterday, I watched it.
You watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because somebody said they couldn't find it.
No,
I didn't
watched
see it.
On
It's
Facebook.
live
So you've
when
done
it
these
happens.
Facebook.
So.
Are a lot
It's
of
very
these
good,
on
no?
there?
Yeah.
They should be.
Okay,
So,
well, awesome. I
Why
didn't
don't
know.
we also publish our YouTube channel and put the live things there?
Okay.
Right,
Well,
guys? Come on. I said we should open a YouTube channel a long time ago.
Definitely.
And just put the videos there and then send it to all our.
The one from
Okay.
yesterday, can I find it somewhere?
Yes.
It's in
Well,
our
can you do
Facebook.
that quickly
Yesterday,
so that we
I
No,
can
was
that's
send it?
really
watching.
important because
I
we're trying
know.
to. Hold on.
Thank you, James.
No,
I
but
tell
we're
my
trying to
staff
bring
this.
people here, and until we're healthy, they're not that excited about grape. They maybe look like you, you know. So, you know, being able to tell them, hey, go listen to this, go check that out. It's different than they just.
I
look-
know.
Yeah, so we can get
Understand.
people to
So,
come.
so we're gonna
Good
even create a
marketing.
YouTube channel
Right.
so that you can see all the videos there and you can choose which ones you want to watch.
Great.
Okay, so it becomes very easy. Just make a playlist, right? And the topics and the titles are all there. So all these workshops, we have the videos on it, and
Great.
so you're gonna get an email on that telling you where it is,
Okay.
so that you just see the full playlist and you can choose the one.
That's awesome.
Okay. Anything else? Any questions? So I didn't introduce Dr. Noel is sitting at the back. She's our medical director. She sat quietly at the back. Esther, in case you were wondering, I'm not a doctor.
What are you? Can you brief your credentials? I mean, obviously you're a health enthusiast.
My
but what-
my credentials are all in technology and consulting. So Dr. Yi and I run clinical research upstairs, and we started realizing that as the drug companies are building, so we are seeing drugs that are coming in the pipeline over the next 10 years because we're testing them upstairs. And so we know that there is really no cure for chronic illness.
Yeah.
We're not going to find a cure
Or
for
a
it.
magic bullet.
Yes, and it's all we are providing are just symptomatic relief. So even if you're taking the medications, it just manages the condition for the meantime, but the disease is actually progressing. Is that making sense? Whether it's diabetes or osteoarthritis, it's just managing the condition temporarily because it blocks the pain, but the underlying disease is progressing. And all chronic illness is lifestyle driven. I give you the list of the lifestyle things. So it all comes from that. So Dr. Yi and I thought, okay, we need to take care of our own health and the health of our friends. Let's open a clinic downstairs. And that's where this came from. And if we were disappointed, and I apologize, Dr. Noel is here, we're disappointed with the medical profession because most MDs don't really care about our health, even their own health. So it's not like they are being mean. They don't really care about their own health. All the stuff we're talking about here has been in the literature for more than 40 years. The fact that cancer is a metabolic illness has been in the literature for more than 40 years. But there is a deception that we're going to find a cure for cancer, which is bullshit. What triggers cancer?
Mutation.
No,
Acidic
the
environment.
mutation comes from toxicity and nutrient deficiency. That's the source of the mutation, except it's a genetic cancer, like leukemia or something else. All cancers, why do they show up when you're about 30, 40, 50, 60? It's a lifestyle accumulation issue. Is that clear? But you don't hear that on CNN. They worry more about Trump than about cancer, right? And so everybody is thinking, oh, I am now cancer-free. Then they go back doing what they were doing that caused the cancer in the first place. And what do you think is going to happen? It's going to come back. And then what does the literature say about cancer that comes back? 90% of people die from cancer that comes back because it comes back aggressive and invasive. Because it was pissed off the first time.
I'm gonna hit your heart.
You gave it.
So it comes in a dispersed form. It attacks many organs at the same time. So initially it might come as just breast cancer. I'm in remission. Then you go back drinking soda, smoking, drinking, not exercising, eating whatever you want. And the next time it comes, everywhere. And then how are we going to cure it now? You die. And it's painful. So do you get the point? And most doctors are not going to tell you that. They will say, we'll do chemotherapy and radiation, which also weakens your immune architecture, destroys your GI tract. So now you're more susceptible to actually being more ill. Do you get that? And so what's the alternative? It's wellness, right? And we have another clinic in Vietnam, in Saigon. I was telling them, and the people, oh, but I love rice. I say, is the love of rice and your love of your life, which one? It's like soda, right? Who doesn't like sweet things? I do too. But I have to give it up so I can live happy and have a good brain. Look at Alzheimer's. It's a metabolic illness. Look at depression. Look at autism. It's a metabolic illness.
But so like that one they get, but they why do the kids get it? If it's
Why do they get one?
kids get that autism.
Yes.
So that's not an accumulation of
It is
lifestyle.
it is an
They're
accumulation.
just little.
No, it's part because they already
The
have a
mom.
genetic susceptibility.
It's the mom's fault.
No, it's not fault. How can you say fault?
Well, no, I mean the accumulation of lifestyle from
Yeah,
the mom.
no, first of all, see what's happening. The incidence of autism is rising. So we're looking at a lot of different things. Women are getting pregnant late. Women are on birth control for a long time. There's a lot of toxicity. There's nutrient deficiency. So all these things are accumulating. Then you get a baby when you're 35. Oh, it's autistic. It must be the vaccination. It's an accumulation of a lot of stuff. You know, in the old culture in Africa, women got pregnant at 15, 16, 17 when they were really healthy with no birth control. And they kept having kids after every 2 years. There was no birth control. So now you take birth control, which destroys your hormonal system for 20 years, and then you get a baby and you're like, why is the baby not okay? I know doctors are not talking about that shit because
It's not popular. It's not good PR.
you see the point. And then there's toxicity too, because people are just drinking water from anywhere. People are breathing air, right? They buy new cars. I love the new car smell. The new car smell is toxic. It is toxic. Do you understand that? And the carpet, I don't like carpet floors. They're toxic. That's why you see me, I put a wooden floor here.
Yeah,
Do you understand? They're toxic. So people say, oh, we just got new carpeting. You enter, you can smell it. All of that is chemicals you're smelling. And you're breathing all of that. Wait, the liver is like, oh, this asshole gave me a new load of work to do. Right? Do you get it? So there should be a consciousness. That's why I got this. We became awoken to the fact that health is in every moment. The choices that you're making every moment, right? How well do you sleep? How comfortable is your bedroom, right? How important is sleep for you? What do you do before you go to sleep, right? Do you shower? You brush your teeth? How good is your dental hygiene? Because most of pathogens come from the mouth. And if you have dental problems, or if you have dental feelings, it's bad also for you because you see the accumulation of those metals in your bloodstream. That's why they don't encourage those implants anymore, the metal ones. They're all bad for us. I know they didn't tell you. Okay? But it doesn't mean you don't do them, but when you do them, you need to be aware that you need to be detoxing to remove them out of your system often. Okay? And nobody else is responsible for your health except you. That's why we opened this clinic. I'm more passionate about this than most doctors I know. Because this is about my health. And I'm going to tell you the truth. We didn't do this, right, Dr. Yi? We didn't do this to get rich. There are other ways we could get rich. We could just build another clinical research company and open inpatient unit, and, right, and make a lot of money. But we are doing this because we want to find a vehicle to be honest and straightforward with people. Okay?
Yeah.
Because your doctor is not going to talk to you for 10 minutes.
That's, look, that's really true. You know, I
Most
can't-
appointments are 5 minutes and he writes a prescription.
well, I
Right,
can't-
Dr. Noel? That's what they do. And then you know what people say? Oh, but my doctor is very nice. I've been using my doctor for 10 years. Then why are you sick? Because the doctor in America has a big challenge. It's not like in England, where most of their education is free. They take a loan of about $200,000 to go to medical school, and the minute they graduate, they have to start paying that loan. So the objective is not healing you, the objective is to get out of debt.
Milk the cow.
And they know that MD is a license to make money. They all just have to sign. Who wouldn't take advantage of that? They're not bad people. They're just dealing with an economic problem. And it takes time to learn all this stuff that we have learned. And it's a lot of, look at my desks downstairs and upstairs, piled with paper. I have read over 1,000 research papers in the last year. People say, how come you know so much? I've done the reading and the confirmation and the cross-checking and the validation and this and that, right? Like Doc was saying yesterday, how many women are going to sit down and read all the research of estrogen and cancer?
Yeah.
There are over 200
I
papers.
didn't even understand it when they did.
There's almost 200 papers, yet they form stupid opinions about it. Like politics, right? You know I don't like Trump. Well, why? Because, oh, I just don't like him.
Yeah.
It's the same thing they talk about estrogen. Oh, estrogen forms cancer. Where did you read that? Well, my friend told me. You know, who's your friend? What's the basis of that data? It's all lies. You get the point. People, fake news, as we say now. Okay, so our responsibility here is two things. Two things. That's why we opened this clinic. Number one is to empower you with knowledge about your health. Number one, your health is your responsibility. It's not mine. It's not Dr. Noel's. It's yours. Because it's your life. Number one, get the knowledge. Don't be stupid.
Yes.
Stupid people die. Number two, now you can take action when you have knowledge. And what kind of knowledge do we give you? All your clinical biomarkers, the data. Isn't that what he said yesterday? Run the blood. Vincent, come and log me into a Boston Heart report here. Let me just quickly show them. We collect over 500 biomarkers on you. Your clinical biomarkers tell you the truth about your health. It's not what you feel or what you think, it is what's going on in your body. Right? Then now you can take action. I don't care, I want to die like this. Okay, fine. Don't ask us to pay for it then. Right, James?
Yeah, sure.
But if you want to do something, now you have data to do something about it. Okay, we're really very passionate about this. Now you have data to do something about it. That's really at the core of what we do here. Empower you with knowledge so that you can take action. Okay? Are we clear? Thanks, guys. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How did you choose to open a clinic in Vietnam versus anywhere else? in the
Well,
world?
because, okay, so sorry, before you go there. So
Okay.
scroll up to the top of the report. Is that the top?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see, this is somebody's report. That's Charles Cena. Hey, the man from heaven. I ran this, you see, I was fasting. My BMI was 27.9. Not bad, but that's overweight, right? This was in 2017,
Yeah.
right? But you know, on the very important things, I was not doing very well there. Right? Scroll. Only Boston runs reports at this level of detail. Nobody else does it. This is what triggered me. When I first ran these reports and I looked at it, this is what triggered me. And I started saying, wow, I need to really take some big actions. I thought I was healthy. I played tennis every day. So I thought I was good, right? Then you look at this and you start thinking, wow, I need to start taking action immediately. So this is where it started. So it's not just about how you feel, it's what your clinical biomarkers are saying. And so when you start having data at this level, so what do? We do your poo for your microbiome. We do your urine. You saw the urine and a report for toxicity. We do your blood, which is this one, contains the metabolic lipid panels and all of that. We also do your intracellular, and then we do your genetics, right? Because some people already have a predisposition for Alzheimer's, for depression, for metabolism, and for all of those things. We want to know where your weakness is. So for example, I have a genetic weakness in that I don't know when to stop eating. They call it satiety. You don't know when you're full. Do you understand? That means I have to control portions very clearly because my body doesn't give me good signals. You're full. You know, in the Japanese theory, they say you should eat until you're 80% full. I don't have that signal. Is that making sense?
I have the same problem.
Yes. Most times you eat until you've overeaten. Do you get that? Because I don't have that genetic signal. So if you don't have it, then you mean, wow, I need to be mindful of the portion.
Well, even if you have the appropriate satiation control,
Yeah.
it's about a 20-minute delay. So by the time you're feeling full, by the time it was telling you that, you've already eaten another 20 or 30%.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. You see that? And so you can't look at people and say, oh, he's fat because of him. Most of us, there's a lot of lifestyle issues why people are unhealthy and why people are sick. Okay? And just because you're thin doesn't mean you're healthy. As we're finding out with a lot of Asians because of visceral fat. Yesterday, Doc was talking about that too. Okay, guys? So if you want to buy some of the detox programs or anything, you can talk to my staff. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.